for some scoring updates while you try to figure
Yeah,
it
go ahead and
out.
give some scoring updates while I get this figured out.
So live on True TV, we got 15 minutes left. We've got Seattle up 1-0. On TBS, we got Toronto, Tampa Bay in overtime, the first minute of overtime here. So this is the second game in a row to go to overtime in Tampa Bay. The game is tied 4-4. In this Lakers game versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Right now, the Lakers are down by one, but they are at the line and they make the first free throw to tie the game. 2:37 left in the first quarter in that one. And with a second free throw coming for Schroeder, and who's been playing better as of late. And he's always a dangerous scoring threat, and he makes the second free throw. So it puts the Lakers up one with 2:35 left in the first quarter. And it looks like it's offsides here in the hockey game. And welcome to a chat, Arun. Arun saying hello on our Twitch chat. So I appreciate him for
right, I'm ready
contributing
to
with.
rock and roll, Robbie. Had to do a little bit of quick on the fly stuff, but I'm ready to
All right,
rock and roll.
I'm gonna mute myself and then I'm gonna just refresh my drink, and I'll be right back in like 5 minutes. And but I'll let you rock and roll with all the Nats talk.
All right, sounds good. Nats talk. It's was a 2-3 week. They had 5 games interleague play, 2 games against the Orioles and 3 games against Minnesota. Unfortunately, they got swept and shut out at home by the Orioles in their 2 games, and they won 2 out of 3 against the Twins, looking for the sweep, but came up a little short on Sunday due to old Nat going deep on Patrick Corbin to give them the lead, and the win. But let's not get too far ahead. In the last 10 games, the Nats are 3-7. As I mentioned, they went 2-3 the last week. Currently sitting 5th in the division at 7-14. First game of the old series, which was at home, which I always say it sucks to get shut out. It always sucks to lose, but it sucks even more to get shut out at home. The first game was a 1-0 loss. Dean Kramer earned the victory for the O's. He put that's his first victory of the season. He went 6 2/3, giving up 4 hits, no runs, with 6 strikeouts and no walks. Once again, Josiah Gray puts up another solid performance, but can't get any run support. He drops to 0-4, 5 innings, giving up 4 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts with 4 walks. And Felix Batista earned his 5th save for the O's, going 1 inning, giving up 1 hit with no runs, strikeouts, or walks. No offense, so nothing to talk about for the Nats. Second game of the series was a 4-0 loss. Kyle Brandish got his first victory of the season for the O's, going 6 innings, giving up 5 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, and 1 walk. And Mackenzie Gore dropped to 2-1. He went 6 innings, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts, and 4 walks. And once again, no offense, so nothing to report on that front. After they lost the 2 games to the O's at home, they went on the road to a chilly Minnesota and found the way to win 2 out of 3 against a good team. It just seemed like the Nats just played a little bit better against them. They won the first game of the series 3-2. The Twins were up 2-0 most of the game going into the 7th, and the Nats put up 3 runs between the 7th and the 8th to get the lead and hold on to the lead and win the game. Surprisingly, that's something they haven't been doing on a regular basis, let alone consistently. Erasmo Ramirez earned his first victory of the season. I put him at 1-1. He went 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs, no strikeouts with 1 walk. Griffin Jacks took the loss. That dropped him to 1-2. He went 1 inning, giving up 3 hits, 2 runs with 2 strikeouts and no walks. Kyle Finnegan earned his 4th save of the season, going 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, no runs, no strikeouts, and a walk. They said they were down 2-0 all the way up until the 7th inning. In the top of the 7th, Joey Meneses got his first home run of the season. It was a solo home run, which made it 2-1 Minnesota. Top of the eighth, Lane Thomas had an RBI single, tying the game up, making it 2-2. And then right after him, Keibert Ruiz came up with the RBI single, scoring Thomas to give the Nats a 3-2 lead. And as I said, Kyle Finnegan closed it out in the bottom of the ninth. But the bottom of the ninth to solidify the first win of the series. Second game of the series was a 10-4 Nats win. It was a great game to watch as a Nats fan, to see some offense, to see some hitting, and to see some decent pitching, to hold them to 4 runs. Mason Thompson got the win. I put him at 2-1. He went. Guy gave up. He went 2 innings in the 2 and the third innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 run. That run wasn't earned with 4 strikeouts and no walks. Pablo Lopez took the loss. That dropped him to 1-2. He went 4 innings, giving up 5 hits, 5 runs with 6 strikeouts and 2 walks. And the top of the first, Joey Meneses had an RBI single, making it 1-0. Then Candelario scored on a wild pitch with the bases loaded. No, the bases were loaded, but scored on a wild pitch. That made it 2-0. Top of the second, Meneses had an RBI single, making it 3-0. Then Luis Garcia had an RBI single, also in the top of the second, making it 4-0. When I was in the top of the second, 4-0. In the top of the fourth, Candelario had a sacrifice fly, making it 5-1. In the top of the seventh, after who was it? It was a Candelario. Candelario hustled it out to get on base. I believe it was 2 outs, and C.J. Abrams came up to bat with 2 on. He hit a 3-run home run, busting the game wide open, making it 8-4. In the top of the ninth, Victor Robles, who's been playing pretty well at the plate with the bat. That's been one of his issues. I believe he's in the 300s. He's been sacrifice bunting, and getting the ball in open areas, not thinking too much, not doing too much at the plate. And it's been working for him for the most part. And we all know how solid he is defensively. So I'm waiting for him to get his first Golden Glove, because he's made some Golden Glove type plays, just hasn't got the Golden Glove type recognition yet. He had an RBI double, making it 9-4. And Candelario had an RBI single, making it 10-4, which gave the Nats the win with the final score 10-4 and the win in the series. And Sunday they were going for the sweep with Patrick Corbin taking a mound. And unfortunately, Corbin gave up 2 solo home runs, one of them to Michael A. Taylor, which was about 444 feet. And at that point, made it a 2-1 game. They tacked on another run to make it 3-1, which was the final score. Bailey Ober got the victory for the Twins. That was his first of the season, putting him at 1-0. He went 5 2/3, giving up 3 hits, 1 run with 4 strikeouts and 3 walks.
Carol, real quick.
Yo.
Just scoring update, and then I'm gonna let you go right back into it.
All right.
Austin Kerfoot scores and completes that crazy comeback, 4 unanswered goals. And Toronto in overtime, second overtime in a row they've won in Tampa Bay. Takes a huge lead in this series. Now they get a 3-1 lead going back to Toronto. But Toronto has known for choking 3-1 leads in the past. So not over, especially because Tampa Bay is a championship team. But I just want to give that overtime scoring update. Also, Lakers are up 29-23 in that game. But I'll let you get back to it.
Oh, well, this is the last game of the recap. So,
well, I'm going to let you finish that and then preview the upcoming games. And then I'm going to be right back.
All right. Sounds good. Patrick Corbin, as I said, took the loss. I dropped him to 1-3. He went 6 innings, giving up 7 hits, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Jahan Duran earned his 5th save, going 1 inning, giving up no hits, no runs, 1 strikeout with no walks. The top of the first, Ruiz had a RBI double, giving the Nats a 1-0 lead. And like I said, unfortunately, Corbin gave up back-to-back home runs. I believe it was the 4th inning. And they tacked on another run late to make it 3-1. And unfortunately, the Nats couldn't solidify the sweep. Went 2-3 on the week. and have 6 games coming up. 3 of them against the Mets starting on tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday matchups. All of them are 7-10 starts. Then they come back home versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is actually on a 7-game winning streak right now, so they're playing some good ball. Friday, Saturday, Sunday matchup. Excuse me. Friday is a 7:05. Saturday is 1:05, and Sunday is a 1:35 start. Hopefully, the Nats can finally get a 500 week or maybe above. They had a chance if they'd have swept the Twins to go 3-2 last week, but unfortunately, came up a little short with Corbin giving up the long ball once again. But we're starting to see some spark. As I mentioned, CJ Abrams got his first home run as a Nat, a 3-run shot, and that 10-4, I ain't gonna say blowout, but 10-4 convincingly won game by the Nats. Dominic Smith, he's been helping spark the team. Candelaro's been playing well. Garcia's been getting timely hitting. Pitching, okay. But we got to figure out what's going on with the run support for Josiah Gray. Reminds me of back in the day with Jordan Zimmerman. He threw the no-hitter, but kind of had to because they wasn't giving him no run support. He had to go out there and throw almost perfect games every night just to try to get a victory. So hopefully they can get that figured out because they have put up some runs for him, I believe, last year. We got to get some runs for him this year. And that's pretty much Nats talk for this week. Hopefully next week, as I said, we can have a 500 or above week, but, playing quality opponents, and they're still trying to figure some things out, still figuring some pitching out. And the big question, I believe, with Nats fans is, what we do with Strasburg. I know a lot of fans is, hindsight 2020, we should have never given him the contract, yada, 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 yada. But if he can come back, and he does come back, that'll definitely help this team pitching and in so many other ways, morale-wise, veteran leadership-wise, and yeah. But like I said, just gonna see what they can do. Keep it going. I'll be going to the game on the 13th versus let me check my calendar, versus the Mets. So yeah, I'll be at Nats Park for that game on the 13th. And I guess before we get into hockey, I'll go ahead and I meant to touch on it during the Defenders portion of the show, because we all know that the draft is coming up on Thursday, NFL draft, that is. So just a quick rundown on the draft picks for the Commanders. They have the 16th pick in the first round, the 47th pick in the second round, the 97th pick in the third round, the 118th pick in the fourth round, the 150th pick in the fifth round, 193rd and 215 in the sixth round, and 233 in the seventh round. So stay tuned Thursday for that. I'm going to try to coordinate with Dujane sometime next week to see if we can get our off-season post-draft special in.
Carol, I do want to talk a little Commanders with you real quickly before we get into some hockey talks. I don't want to rush this too much, but did you by any chance listen to that interview with on the radio?
No, I did not. For one, because of the station that was on, and for two, from what I've heard about this guy, it's nothing is what it seems with him. So I'm not even really going to entertain this, whatever he's attempting or trying to do. I'm of the mindset.
It's crazy that the NFL looked into this, right? And they're letting the bid go through. Rarely do people actually get a bid sent to the NFL to ask, do you think this is worth pursuing, before it gets sent to committee and all that sort of stuff. And people seem to think that he legitimately can throw up this money. I don't know how he's made the money. It's not explained very well. The interview is very convoluted. I won't go too far into the interview, but it's crazy that this is the bid that everyone was super excited about. But now there's other people coming out of the woodworks that still might be bidding on this too. So it's not over, Carol. But it's so funny because everyone's like, why aren't you posting about like the Commanders have a new owner? I was like, I don't think you understand how complicated this process is. You got to put an offer sheet, a balance sheet, all these different things together. Then it's got to get ratified by the NFL and by 2/3, I believe, of the teams. And so it's not like it's just like, hey, it's a backroom deal between these two people. Like, it's very public, and it'll be interesting to see.
From what I heard, we're thinking about June would be the time when everything is wrapped up. And honestly, I can't wait because
if this one goes through, now there's a lot of question marks. So at least a lot of radio hosts and a lot of people are reporting a lot of questions on it. I mean, Grant and Danny, who I trust a little bit more than the junkies when it comes to some of this stuff, they really were skeptical about this. So like, I don't know what to believe anymore, Carol. Like, I don't know.
They say real recognize real, fraud recognize fraud, and I'll leave it at that. But I'm just it's.
But so what's going to happen? But you're looking forward to being over. Now I'm not thinking it's going to be over anytime soon.
Well, I mean, just because they allow him to submit the bid doesn't mean they're going to take it seriously. They might just be doing it just to appease him, just to keep it quiet because he's been on shows and he's gonna try to make it, whatever. So just because they allow him to put a bid in doesn't mean they're actually seriously considering letting this go down. So I mean, as long as
there hasn't been real talk. But there's but if this bid doesn't get taken, the other two bids are happening contingency because they're trying to get the same deal this one is. So I'm just very curious.
I just want it to be over.
I know you do, but I just don't. I could see a situation, Carol, and I hate to say this, where this goes south, none of the other deals come through in a timely fashion, and he's still the owner next year.
And I wouldn't be surprised. That's why I'm like, I'm worried about the product on the field. I'm worried about the draft. I'm worried about, third place schedule, potential new offensive coordinator. Those are the things that I'm thinking about. All this other stuff that's why I posted on one of the one of the larger Washington websites. They were talking about, how refreshing it's going to be in the draft not having Dan Snyder's interference. And I said, okay, well, first of all, there was no interference. Second of all, I can't wait for this deal to be done so y'all will actually have to start reporting about sports again. Because I'm tired. That's all everybody's talking about. At the Defenders game, folks walking to the game to go see a 8-1 team talking about F Dan Snyder. I'm like, really? What does he have to do with this? Is he that much? Point to me on the door where this man hurt you. Because the way they have demonized this man and the way the sports media has made him out to be such a bad guy, these folks have PTSD and they thinking with him, like everything is going to be great. We're going to the Super Bowl. Everything is going to be honky-dory once he's gone. Nobody knows first of all, nobody knows who the new owner is. And nobody knows how they're going to act when they get into ownership. So, I mean, like I said, I've said my take. Everybody thinks that I defend Dan Snyder. I don't defend him. I just try to tell people he's not as big as a devil as everybody makes him seem to be. He isn't that rumors of him, having yelling fits about him wanting to draft certain players and him choosing RG3 over Kirk Cousins because Shanahan. I'm so tired of hearing that narrative. And we've disproved it over and over again, but because the major media outlets repeated and regurgitated like it's true, it's frustrating. You're like, dude, I know people at the park. I know what happened. It isn't what these folks that phone in once a week that talk to the water boy or the towel boy getting their inside scoop. I'm talking to people that's there on a daily basis. So it's like, I'm just ready for it to be done and over with because it give the fan base one less thing to whine and complain about. It'll get the DC sports media one less thing to have clickbait about, even though they still probably going to write a year after the Daniel Snyder finally left. Look how far we've come. I can see that going on just because they know by putting his name in the headline, they're going to get somebody to click on. I'm just ready for it to be over, honestly, man.
Yeah. Seattle just scored, and it's our old Finn, Daniel Sprong. It's the second ex-Capital to score tonight. And they take a 2-0 lead in this one with 7:16 left right now in the first period. Also, I want to remind people that Gruby is their goalie as well. So if you're looking for a team to root for, I'm rooting for Seattle in this game just because it'd be nice to see some former Caps move on. And Colorado won it last year, so I like the idea of a fresh story. But yeah, it's some interesting stuff going on with the Commanders for sure. I didn't want to gloss over all of that. I know maybe you probably did, but I do think in some ways it is the talk of the town, this bid that everyone was making a big deal of. And we at no point had even talked about that being a live bid on the Commanders so far on this podcast. So I did want to mention that there has been officially put in, and there's some real questions about the person who's putting them in. With that, we're going to switch over to the NHL. I was trying to get an NHL graphic. I thought I made one. Did I? Aha, I did. So we'll put that graphic up right now, and we'll talk a little bit about this NHL playoffs. Carol, are you watching any of the NHL playoffs, or do you want me to just run through it?
I told you the major series that I'm watching is the Edmonton series to see what McDavid is going to do. They've been pretty much.
Did you watch that game last night? That was a crazy game.
I was frustrated. I started watching. They were down by, I think it was 3, and I turned it off, but I kept checking my phone, and then I got the NHL Network to pop up, and I just kept on seeing them pushing, and I saw that McDavid scored 2 in 2 minutes. And then I turned on the game, and I saw by the time I turned it back on, it was a 5-4 winner. So I like what they're doing. LA is a tough team, and I thought they had the game because that fourth goal was a thing of beauty, and I thought they just had the momentum.
Draisaitl who was scoring at a crazy clip.
But Draisaitl, that's right, Draisaitl. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But Connor McDavid did assist on the first 2 goals in that second period. So they were down 3-0 going into the second, which I thought it was over. I also turned it off and was watching it on the stats. But they scored 3 goals, 2 within 5 minutes, both assists by Connor McDavid, so setting them up. The first was on the power play, and then last 10 seconds of a period, Draisaitl scored on the power play again, made it 3-3. But in the third, about 5 minutes in, the Kings took a 4-3 lead, and I kind of went to bed thinking it was kind of over at that point. But Vander Kane, about 12 minutes later, ties it up. It goes into overtime, and Zach Hyman, about halfway through overtime, gets the winner. Some questionable officiating in both this game and the Toronto series, giving some teams life. I saw a lot of people pretty upset about that, saying, look at these Canadian refs trying to bring these teams back from the dead. The Kings have been very good though so far in that series. I think that they should not be overlooked, and they should not be counted out as like they've been playing really good hockey as of late. Let's break down the bracket real fast. Boston is up 3-1 over Florida in that series. The Bruins won the last 2 games after dropping 1 at home, 6-3 to Florida. So they won the first one 3-1 last Monday. Then they lost 6-3. And then they went to Florida and won 4-2 and then 6-2. And their next game is Wednesday at 7. And then there's a Friday game if needed at 1. And then oh wait, no, it says 1 o'clock, but I'm gonna get that means time to be decided because there's no way there's gonna be a Friday game at 1. So I guess Friday and Sunday they haven't announced the times for those. But
I got 7 o'clock for game 5 on mine.
Okay, yeah. So I think that the my app. Let me actually go to the NHL app instead of doing it through. Sometimes Yahoo doesn't have the best, like most up to date things. So anyway, that's been an interesting series. This Jets Golden Knights series has been pretty interesting so far. Right now, Vegas is up in the series 2-1 to tied game right now between the two with about 16:20 left in the second period. We talked about Colorado leading the Kraken 2-1 in their series, but the Kraken are up 2-0 in that one. The Devils, we talked about this a little bit earlier, up over the Rangers 3-1 tonight. And the road team has won all 4 games in that series. I thought that series was over when they were up 2-0 going to New York, but this series kind of reminds me a little bit of that 2018 series with the Capitals, where they went down 0-2 and went to Columbus, and then then they won that game. That was
Switch
a
goalies,
close,
and good things happen.
right? Well, it was also a close game, overtime game. Just a lot of similarities there, and sure enough, they came back, and so that one, this Maple Leafs, I've just been shocked at how this series has turned around. I really thought that the Lightning were the better team in game 3 and should have won that game and been up 2-1. And sure enough, the Maple Leafs were not the better team for the first 2 periods, but in the last period, they just dominated, and they've flipped the script on the shots on goal and ended up leading shots on goal by the end of that one. So it's been interesting. Tomorrow, the
But you
series.
got to think about it. How much hockey has Tampa Bay played over the last 4 or 5 seasons? They've been playing the postseason for a lot, going to the finals. The last 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. So eventually, it's going to get to them. It's going to wear on your body. And Toronto, like I said, they, known for blowing 3-1 leads and not being able to get over that hump. This might be that year they can finally get over it, just because Tampa's had a lot of hockey played in the last 5 to 6 years, and you can only go on that for so long.
And I believe Victor Hedman was hurt. And so he's one of their best players, obviously. And so that obviously big hurt. It hurts them a lot. So the Islanders go to Carolina in game 5 tomorrow. Carolina leads that series 3-1. The Wild are against the Stars. That's the 8 o'clock game tomorrow on TBS. The Islanders Hurricanes is on ESPN. That Wild Stars game, that series is tied 2-2. Very exciting series. Been back and forth. I feel so bad for Tim. His company offered all the employees to either go to Top Shots Golf or to that Wild Stars game for free. And it's a Texas-based, company, and he was flying back there. They voted like 100-6 to do Top Shots Golf instead of going to a 2-2 playoff game. And Tim is pissed. Like, he doesn't obviously care about either of these teams, but still, like, the series has been so good, and you get to go to a free playoff game or top shot. I'm like, you could do that golf thing anytime. Like, how many chances do you have to go to a 2-2 close, awesome playoff series? But I was crushed when Tim told me that about 2 hours ago.
He should put X-Lax in everybody's drink.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a bummer for him. And then the Kings play the Oilers in that tied 2-2 series at 9:30 on ESPN. And then on Wednesday, that Panthers Bruins series could continue, depending on how or no, so that is the next game in that one. So that's the game 5. That will be on ESPN. And then this Kraken Avalanche series will continue for game 5 on ESPN at 9:30. And then on Thursday, we would see game 5 between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs. That will be on TBS. The Rangers Devils game 5 will be on ESPN2, and the Jets Golden Knights game 5 would be on ESPN2 later on at 10 o'clock. So and then everything else is if necessary. So I won't go through the score, and you could always look that up on the apps. Next week we'll break down just a quick, how each series went in the NBA and NHL. We'll also break down the that playoff game for the Defenders, which I'm praying you get to go to, Carol, or find a way out there. I really would love for one of us to be there for sure. I'm happy you got to go to a game earlier in the season. and you clearly brought them some good luck in a very close,
Yeah.
tense game. And then we'll also talk a little bit about the Nats. We might just go through those even a little bit faster. A timing update next week, since we are doing a special on my Twitch channel. We'll be doing art from 9 to 10, and then Carol and I will start off with Defenders talk at 10, and then Nats talk right after that, and then a quick brief NBA and NHL playoffs, much more brief than this one was. We're not going to go through all the games and stuff like that, but just update everyone on how the series have gone. And then the following week we'll do a more in-depth playoff coverage. And that following week we'll actually preview the finals of the XFL if we make it. There is a week off in between the semifinals and the finals game. I don't know if we've ever actually mentioned that. So Carol, any final thoughts on this episode of Sports on the Hill podcast?
Nah, nothing much. I think we pretty much got everything in. Appreciate the support as always, everybody on Robbie's Twitch channel, the new Defenders fans that's checking out our feed, covering the team. Appreciate it as always. Stay tuned. If you've been checking out my page, you've been seeing me posting some, interesting stuff about life insurance. So that's a precursor to what's coming. So some of my folks on my page, be prepared for me to hit you up about life insurance and advantages it can have for you and your family.
Oh, one last
Other than
scoring
that,
update. I just wanted to put out there. The Lakers have gone on a tear here. They're up 44-30 now with 6:22. They've definitely poked the bear, and it's not looking good for Memphis, who started the game hot. But anyway, I just want to put that out there.
no problem. But just be on the lookout. Things coming, things changing. DC sports are the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. Get out of here. No videos, no nothing. Got a crazy week and a full day tomorrow. So I'm ready to get out of here, Robbie. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the audio podcast right there. Thanks for everyone for tuning in on our Facebook Live. And then I'll do a little Twitch outro after you jump off. But appreciate you as always, Carol, and we'll see you guys next week for a special 10 o'clock start next week on abbreviated Sports on the Hill podcast.
All right, catch you next week. We out.
Recording stopped.
All right, and thanks, Carol, for doing that with me. As always, it's been a super fun show, and I really appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I really appreciate you for sticking with us. And I wanted to thank our latest follower, PZ Hero. PZ, what do you want us to call you? Do you want us? I love Houndooms. I'm a Pokemon fan, as you can see. We have Pokemon in the stream, but I always like to call people what they want to be called. But I really appreciate everyone, whether they're lurking or PZ Hero, for being a part of it. And it's cool. Yeah, we do sports talk. This is our 8th season doing it. We're just finishing our 2nd year affiliate on Twitch, so we'll be celebrating that a little bit more in depth next week. I sometimes do an art stream. I can call you Houndoom. Cool, awesome, Houndoom. So I actually do a lot of Pokemon art as well on the stream, and so if you go back, we did our when we celebrated getting to 500 followers, and we celebrated 300 podcasts, which sports podcasts on the show. We actually did on Pokemon Day a stream where we photoshopped in everybody who had their favorite Pokemon. But I'm the Deadpool guy from the Defenders. Cool. That's awesome. I appreciate other Defenders people for joining in as well. I'm a big Defenders fan. I'm so mad that I'm not gonna get to go. I was trying my hardest to go to my first Defenders game, but I unfortunately plan to do something with my wife, which I'm excited about. But they happen to be at the same time. But I am a big Defenders fan, so I will be rooting them on even if I can't watch it live. But I'll definitely be taping it and watching the replay for that. But yeah, we talk about all the DC sports teams. I'm not sure if you're a fan of the other DC sports teams, but we've over the last, this is our 8th season and 307th show, but we do a weekly show where we talk Caps and Wizards, also Commanders, And we didn't get into it tonight. We were just so busy, and it's such a long stream already. But I will say, DC United did get a huge win this week, and they put themselves in the bracket or in the top part of the standings in the top 8. And so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And he said, "Yep, your Wizards, United, and Defenders. Cool. Yeah. So United." I didn't get to talk about it tonight. I often don't talk about it unless there's people to join me on the soccer discussion, but I'm happy to know that you are, and maybe in the future we can discuss it a little bit further. But it's an interesting new playoff format. And you get the best of 3 in the play-in, and so you just got to get in that top 8 for sure this year. So yeah, and Champ is actually a contributor for the Wizards Talk and the Defenders. Yeah, he was on at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you saw, but you can always check it on the VOD. And I will clip this up into, I think I'm going to do a Defenders solo segment. We're going to do a Wizard solo segment, and then I'm going to clip up the Nats talk, the Commanders talk, and that NHL talk at the end as part 3. I try to do it in 3 parts to make it a little bit more digestible. But we're also on all audio podcast platforms and sportsothp.com. I think I have a website thing or in my socials with this. Yeah, there you go. So it's sportsothp.com. You can always click the audio podcast, and we're on all audio podcast platforms. I also post the 3 VOD clips from this up onto our YouTube channel as well. Yeah, actually a Nats fan too. Yeah, and I have to say I've been a little bit jaded Nats fan lately. Also with all the playoffs and XFL and NHL and NBA, I haven't had the bandwidth to watch the Nats yet. I do watch them in the summer. I do tend to take a 3 month hiatus during the summer just to spend time with my family. But Carol does champion our Nats talk, so that'll still be over on his Facebook page and on the podcast page as well if he chooses to do that. And one of the Lakers players just went down with an apparent injury, but they were able to score a bucket, and they're taking a 51-38 lead right now in that game. But yeah, and thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, next week's gonna be a special. We're celebrating affiliates. So the first hour, I'm gonna be doing a punk rock art stream with some of my friends. Carly Sings, who I'll do come in for her. She's actually currently on her honeymoon, but she'll be back for this. And my other mod, Andy, they both will join me. They're both part of a punk rock raid train that I also help run. So we'll show some of the updated schedule for that music marathon that's going to be happening that following week. And I'll also do some art where I might Photoshop either our favorite punk rockers or maybe some of the streamers together. I'll talk to them about what they want to do. Pumpy check. Let's see what we got here. Do I have this Pokemon? I don't even know. Oh, I do. So we'll do some sort of art for the first hour, and then I'll have Carol join, and we'll do an abbreviated podcast next week, recapping the football game and the Nats, and just a quick little bit about the NBA and NHL playoffs. And then we may even go back to art afterwards. I'm not sure what I'll do for the third hour. It just depends on how long the sports talk goes for. But it should be a fun show where I actually combine both here live on Twitch. It's a Twitch exclusive. Facebook will be for just the sports one. So you saw that accident earlier, had to grab it. Nice. Yeah, lots of great Pokemon in here. I'm a diehard Pokemon fan. A lot of people just hang out in here. It's a little bit of a slow night on Twitch, but sometimes big groups of people just hang in here and just catch Pokemon and stuff like that. But yeah, we have a couple people in here. I'm going to do a quick little raid. I'm looking here to see who we've got live on my list. If anybody else has somebody they want me to raid, I'm more than happy to do that as well. So yeah, I tend to moderate a ton of music channels, Houndoom on here. So I have a lot of friends on that side of Twitch. But I did start here 5 years ago, following gaming channels, and have done Pokemon streams in the past and stuff like that as well. The creator of this Pokemon community game is actually on right now, Demon Rider. We could rate him. We could rate a music stream. Champ and Houndoom, let me know if you would prefer to go to a music stream or to a Pokemon stream. I'm happy to do either. I have a couple people in mind for each. Wax Wayne is an awesome musician. We could go visit them. I don't know if you, Houndu, do you have a preference of whether you'd want to do music or go to a Pokemon stream? You good for whatever? Okay, cool. I think we might go to Wax Wayne. I've never gotten a chance to raid him before. He's super chill. Let me see how long he's been on before I do, just 'cause I don't like to raid somebody if they're like about to leave. Oh, they just got on. So that's good. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna do raid over to Wax Wayne. Here is the raid and the sub raid call. So if you're a subscriber to the channel, you can grab the Charizards. If you're not, you can grab the goal thing. We're gonna go over to check out Wax Wayne. Yeah, definitely. I'm super happy that you joined us. Yeah, I stream pretty much every Monday at 9, and I do it from Labor Day to Memorial Day, right? So upcoming Memorial Day, I'll start my break for the summer break. But we pretty much do it every week unless I'm on spring break or winter break. And we do talk about all the sports, so we go through it all. We have caps roundtables of 2 or 3 guests with us. We have our NBA roundtables, usually about 4 people deep. We have other defenders and commanders people on a roundtable too. So we have about 10 or 15 people on our team. So lots of people talking a lot of different sports. And also, if you want to ever join us, you can hit me up. And I have guests and stuff like that come on all the time. So I appreciate you for tuning in, and everybody for tuning in, and the 6 viewers that are rating. Again, grab a raid call. We're going to head over to Wax Wayne. Hope you guys all have a great week, and let's go Defenders. Hope they get a big win in the playoffs this week, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.